Hey guys, we are back on MDG, your European Disc Golf Hub channel. This is the first round of the MPO Field Now 2024 European Disc Golf Festival, last elite series in Europe for this season. We are at the Tallinn Song Festival grounds, amazing place to witness some disc golf action. I am Maxime Tanghe, still with me, Elias Luukkonen.
What's up Maxime, what's up viewers? Nice to be here for this prestigious event, incredibly professionally run. There was already 2,500 people on the venue watching disc golf today. It's gonna be so amazing.
That's gonna be a good day, weather is there, and we have a great card also. First, on the tee, we'll have Simon Lizotte from Germany, living in the States, representing MVP, one of the most famous player on earth, and we are really happy to have him on the card today.
And Wysocki coming fresh off of a second place finish at the European Open, just barely losing to Gannon Burr.
And third, we'll have Niklas Anttila, best European player I'd say for the moment. He's super solid and pretty stoked to have him again on the lead card feature. And let's have the last one.
And of course, player from Estonia, the homeland of the tournament, Tamm, also one of the most famous players to play this event, and he's gonna have the home crowd on his back. And talking about crowd on his back, that's exactly what's happening on this hole number one. Huge crowd just behind the tee pad. Hole 1 is a long par 4, fully open off the tee. You can play any sort of shape you want. Most players going for a flat to hyzer with an overstable distance driver. Try to find yourself to the inbounds area that is on the left side of the fairway. A lot of OB on the right, also some OB on the left. Then off a good drive, you still have a long approach uphill into this green with more OB right, left and short. It's really all about just keeping it on the fairway in the first and then, having that precise approach. Still on the drive
in a second. Tamm. He's able to give some shows to people. Simon Ricky. Great card today, and as you can see from this angle, there is a lot of people following the card this afternoon.
First to the tee, from Germany, sponsored by MVP, Simon Lizotte.
It's actually the first time we have Simon on our videos. Super stoked about that.
Yeah, really cool for the channel, also really cool for just European disc golf scene, having all of these superstars from overseas. And Simon here, you can see, playing a pretty safe shot, more towards the left side. So this is fading towards the OB left. That's kind of the danger on this hole, really, those paths.
Yeah, that's the only thing that can happen off the tee if you're going safe. And as you mentioned, Ricky with a second place at the European Open last week. He's confident for the moment. He won in Norway 2 weeks ago, Krokol. And that's a great line. Low and flat. Exactly what you need on this one.
From Finland, sponsored by this media, Niklas, Anttila.
Both Niklas and Albert having experience from this very course. Actually, Simon as well from last year's European Championships. The layout is just slightly different. I'd say more difficult this year with some longer par 3s down the stretch. Niklas is fading out a little bit left. Luckily not hitting the pathway, he's going to be safe.
He goes from the left side, but in bounds for Niklas.
From Estonia, sponsored by Latitude 64, R1F9.
Yeah, if we have to rate the noise the crowd was doing, Albert has the favors.
Yeah, I was on hole 7, and when Albert was teeing off, and you could hear all of the crowd, even from, couple of hundreds meters away. And this is a great shot, you know, pretty safe. Not too far. Kind of Ricky did the longest shot, he was able to flip it up the flat. But really everybody in good position, and now it's all about just hammering that nice straight to stable driver up the hill. Not much wind in this round one, especially at this part of the course. Just a little bit of a breeze, you know, maybe 3-4 meters a second.
We are going to have Simon first on the second shot. That's a really tough shot, super uphill. And that's even more beautiful from Simon. 4 or 5 meters left.
And let's see if there's some arm speed difference between Simon and Niklas. And yes, of course, Niklas going with more of a flip-up shot compared to Simon's pure hyzer. Niklas a little bit short left there, you know, it's really not a bad play, knowing the limits of what he can reach, and he's gonna have a look from C2. I bet he doesn't run it though.
Yeah, it can be a danger on this green with that slope, left to right. Careful with the rollerways, and Albert just outside the circle for first birdie look, entering the round.
Enrique, of course, from the best position. In his practice round, he said he's trying to play this a little bit short, just below the basket. And that's kind of exactly what he's done. Not going above the basket where he would have a downhill putt, much more dangerous with the hillside. Yeah, everybody off to a solid start. This hole actually does have a lot of potential for big numbers.
And as you expected, nothing crazy on Niklas' side. Bullseye and an easy par to start the round. Now Albert, uphill opportunity. Great, dead center.
Beautiful, 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 and once again the crowd is absolutely roaring. I'm impressed with how supportive all of these Estonian fans are.
And a good bird to enter the round for Ricky. Good putt, dead center. That's great. What do you think? A par on this first hole is okay, you would say?
I think it's okay if you're, you know, a little bit nervous, but for these top players, it's two pretty basic shots. It's all about one hyzer off the tee, second hyzer on the second. If you have a lot of distance on the backhand, it's a pretty simple hole, but it can definitely bite you.
And we are moving on to hole 2. Lots of crowd, as you can see. Let's go. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, hole 2 is such a different hole compared to number 1. This one is all about having some good touch and accuracy with a backhand putter, or for a lot of players, a mid-range. Really want to throw a straight shot. The basket is off to the left, but that is mostly an illusion. Really, a straight shot will get you to 4 or 5 meters away. A lot of players trying to hit that straight gap with a pretty low shot. You get some good skips at the end of the fairway, especially if you disc up to that mid-range.
So everything you need to do on this one is hitting your line. Oh, did he go through that small gap between those two trees? That's a good shot in the end. Left with a 6 meter putt probably.
Little inside there, both Simon and Ricky missing the last trees to the left, which is, it's a valid line. I'm not sure if they were actually going for that line, because some players definitely are. This is the other option, not that commonly taken. As you can see, there are a lot of trees in the way.
And tighter also on that left side. More trees to fight. Oh, and that's good looking.
Can you imagine a better hole for Niklas, honestly?
I'd say there is a lot of holes that suit his game, but definitely one where he will be comfortable on. Good up. just outside the bullseye for Albert.
Everybody else in the circle. Very protected green, not really any wind here. That's a solid stroke from Ricky.
He's so dialed, C1. That putting technique, he's on point for sure. Oh, no way.
Yeah, a bit of a push out. He was pretty far on the right side. I feel like that's a 50-50 putt, you know. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes doesn't. Just gotta put them to the middle. This basket, the Prodigy T2, really loves the center putt. You rarely get spit outs from the middle, and you can putt pretty hard, you know, compared to, especially 2 weeks ago, we had the Latitude baskets, which really favor a soft putt, and you know, disc catchers in the European Open. I think this is the basket that prefers the hard putt compared to those two.
Yeah, not the best break for Simon. Moving on to hole 3, 92 meters par 3. What to say about this one?
This one is a pretty simple, low fairway driver forehand. I would be a little bit surprised to see any other shot than the forehand. Of course, we have great backhand throwers on the card, but really, that low, flat thrown forehand is gonna be the best shot here. There's OB left, OB long, OB right, but really the main difficulty is that low ceiling gap off the tee.
Yeah, and they moved the tee backwards maybe 10 meters compared to last season. And that's the main difficulty. Really need to hit that first gap. Once it's done, everything is okay. And that's a great shot from Ricky going for the turkey.
Yeah, and he's gonna get it from there. Most likely. Niklas also, I feel like he usually has pretty good touch with this sort of a forehand. Pretty lucky break there. Hitting the pole and bouncing inbounds.
Yeah. Close to be out of bounds. Good break. Oh, and that's low. That could be a mistake on this one. You need to push it low with the low ceiling and just catching that bush.
Yeah, it's kind of an awkward low ceiling as you have that bush so low, but you still have the ceiling very low as well. So it's really, you have to find that balance between going too low and too high, as Albert does perfectly. Beautiful shot.
Yeah, making it look easy. Left with a 5 meters tester. And now Simon. Awkward position. Yeah, good control. 5-6 meters left.
Very Simon-like shot. I feel like he's great with those standstill or even small run-up backhand touch shots. Really player with frisbee skill, I'd say.
Oh, good run. Catching the front cage. Perfect line. Need a bit more push. Simon to save the par. Dead center. No issues on this one.
And as Albert's going from 5 meters, that's a good putt. The best round in the clubhouse at this moment is 10 under, at least by James Proctor. He was one of the earlier players to finish out today.
The earliest.
Yeah, that's kind of the number that these guys are looking to match. And everybody with a decent start.
Yeah, as you can see, James Calcline with 1 hole left, good scores, back into the clubhouse.
We are here. We are one. We will fight. We will fall. We will prevail. From the fjords of Norway to the shores of Spain, from the fire of Iceland to the hope of Ukraine, 30 countries, one voice. Go Europe!
Yeah, thanks, and shout out to PDGA Europe and hole 4 now.
Yeah, hole 4, another small difference from last year. This hole has been made a little bit longer, now 112 meters. It's a straight shot with a left finish. Really simple shot for most right-hand backhand players. It's all about just controlling the distance and controlling the fade. Ideally, you would love to fade only after the last trees, or if you want to play it a little bit safer, you can play a more overstable disc, hopefully fade just between the couple of last trees. Biggest danger here, I'd say, is the OB on the long right side.
Exactly, if you go too straight or too long also, you need to control the power. It's a fairway driver shot, you would say. Ricky's going with a lower disc. Slower disc, my bad. Great control. 6 meters, going for 4th birdie in a row.
Yeah, I love the play. He had such great stability on the disc and going with a mid-range rather than the fairway. You know, he can hit it a bit harder. And I think Albert might be doing the same with a mid-range. Or is that a fairway? What do you think?
I'm not sure exactly what he threw, but it worked. As you mentioned, there is some space on the left side, so you can just bet to go through.
Yeah, really 2 perfect shots there. And Niklas, this is a very common mistake on this hole. It's so easy with that early high ground to somehow let it out early. And he's gonna have a simple approach from there, but it's not super easy. He has some trees to contend with. And Simon here, nice release.
I'm wondering if it's his crave, I'm not sure 100%. He was going fairway driver during the practice round. Okay, Niklas left with a 40 to... Oh, and that's late. That's gonna be a C2 putt to save the par on this hole 4.
Yeah, really not great touch there from Niklas. And look at this, Simon with a beautiful...
Loving this, great highlight.
Great look at his pin putt, you know, that nose up release. Not really putting the disc very high compared to a lot of players from this range. Might put it even out of the frame from this camera angle. That's just beautiful.
Dead straight, spin putt, good pace. Loving this. And we have now Niklas to save the par from long range. Oh, 2nd in a row, that deserved better. Unfortunate, just a bit too much right side, and that's a 4th birdie in a row for Ricky. Great start.
Yeah, very solid there. I feel like the early part in the round is where you kind of have to score. I feel like the most difficult holes are gonna be coming up on the back 9. You know, the first 5, 6, even the entire front 9, I feel like that's the place where you need to get the birdies. Then on the back 9 you can kind of slow down and, you know, hopefully just not bogey any holes.
I'd say the major danger on this front 9 is hole 7, where a lot can happen. We'll see it just after the next 2. And we are moving on to another par 4. Hole 5, 207 meters.
Yeah, great shape of a hole, especially for the right-hand backhanded throwers. You'd like to throw a driver, either a hard thrown fairway driver, or you can even club up, disc up to a distance driver. Main goal here is to hold straight and only fade after the left side OB is cutting to the left. So you need to fly straight for a long time off the tee. Off the ideal drive you usually have about 80 or 70 meters to go to this basket. A lot of trees in the way though. You have a couple of gaps, you can go for a straight shot, you can go for a tight low hyzer, or maybe the most common play, a low forehand on the left side.
And they pushed the basket further, maybe 20 meters compared to the layout of the last tournament. And Ricky late catching a tree on the right side. That's gonna be a long approach to attack the green. Oh, man, it was close.
Just barely getting over that bunker, and that's gonna be a great drive. Big skip. I feel like both Ricky and Albert were playing it pretty far to the right. You know, you really can even go left side of that bunker, just like Simon is doing here.
Oh, it needs to hold that line for a while. Not sure if it is out of bounds. barely in. There was some applause. And Niklas now, even after 4 holes.
And he's holding a distance driver, so probably trying to push it as far as possible.
And it's a good looking drive. No way.
I think he's still gonna be safe there.
Yeah, it opens up.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. You know, if you go far enough, the left side OB really opens up. And Ricky here, going for the straight forehand.
Look at that. He was almost going in. And thanks to the tree, he will be inside the circle. Should be cake for him.
Yeah, great shot. And Simon, beautiful straight shot as well with the backhand. Yeah, these guys are making that gap look much wider than it really is. There's a low ceiling and the gap is really not that wide, only about 4 meters.
Yeah, you're right. Lots of trees to fight. And as you just mentioned it, Niklas just caught some. Maybe 9 meters to fight. Great touch on this from Albert. To go 4 down through 5. He's giving the crowd the show they are waiting for. Now Niklas to go under the par. Oh yes. Great pace. Impossible for the basket to do anything to the disc. 1 down again.
Yeah, I feel like that's something we don't talk enough about Niklas' putt, as Simon makes his putt from just 5 meters. You know, Niklas, he's in a way, as you know, we talk about some American players often, he has that great pace. He really doesn't have a speed out chance on the putt compared to Ricky, for example, who's a very aggressive putter. We see those speed outs sometimes from him. Of course, he has made that mental note probably that he's going to take the chance, be more confident on the green with that hard putt.
Exactly, and Simon was OB of the tee then. He took the par. Moving on to hole 6.
Yeah, hole 6 with one of the biggest Mando signs in the world. You have to be left side of this banner. Really off the tee, it's a low ceiling distance driver for most players. Wanna throw it straight with hopefully a left finish. You know, where the drone is going to be flying is not the main gap for the most players. Really the main gap on the approach on this island hole is going to be on the left side of the fairway. There's a big opening, especially good for a forehand. If you don't stick this island, you're going to a drop zone. So really important to have that good speed control there and at least give yourself a putt. If you want to play it safe on the approach, really go a little bit long and right.
Yeah, the left side is definitely the main gap, you would say. More space. There was a lot of trees on that left. You were not able to attack the green last season. Now you have more options, and that's a great drive from Ricky. And that's piercing the gap nicely also. More speed, more skip, and he will be up there on that kind of a plateau. No slope to fight for him on the run-up.
Niklas turning it a bit to the right. He's going to be lower on the hill, which from there I would think he might have a better angle to the right gap, as we saw the drone flying through. You really have to be a little bit left for that left gap to be the best option.
And he's shorter also. You would attack the island from where he landed?
I think I would, and I think honestly he will. He's so hungry for birdies. And even Simon from there, you know, he's more on that right side, probably gonna have to go to that right gap. It's not a bad gap. It's not a small gap by any means. There's a few meters of space there. Just the low ceiling is the tricky part.
And he's going aggressive right side. No way. No way, please. And a bad break for Niklas. That was a bit low, needed a bit more push. But yeah, 50-50 again. Could have stayed in bounds. And this approach really impressed me. He was in the middle, like the choice on the left was also possible. And the gap was super tight on that right side from where he landed. Definitely better location for Salmon. Barely makes it though, just over those panels.
And look at this for Albert, just a pitch forehand through the basket, barely makes it over the banner, luckily. Yeah, we're gonna have 3 birdie looks on another hole that really has a lot of potential for big numbers. At least for, you know, a bogey or even a double if you mess up the drive and maybe lay up from there. Ricky in for the birdie. This is another great showcase of how the Estonians have built this course up for the crowd. You know, the green is protected. Players are not going to be distracted by the crowd being on the green, but just outside the fences. Great, you know, organization, crowd control. I feel like that's what this event does pretty much better than any other event I have ever played.
Good bird. 6 in a row for Ricky. All green. And also solid start for Albert. And yeah, lots of 8 downs. Vino is still playing 7 down, 4 holes to go. And we were mentioning this one. It can be dangerous. What to know about this?
Yeah, it's a dead straight shot. There's usually a slight headwind as we're going towards the Baltic Sea here. 109 meters, playing shorter though with the downhill grade. Really the tricky part about this is that if you hit any tree, your chance of kicking left or right OB is massive. Really the only way to play this hole without OB is to not hit any trees. Otherwise you need an extreme amount of luck.
Yeah, just hit your line and you'll be fine. As Ricky is doing lots of ground play, he's gonna be left with a 9 meters tester to go 7 through 7. And now Albert on the tee to keep going. Great starts. Oh. Yeah, exactly what you were saying.
Yeah, that happens so quick on this hole. I feel like you could kind of already see that from his run-up. His run-up was towards the right side. Maybe he was trying to play more of a hyzer flip. But, you know, I didn't really like the direction of the run-up there as Simon is throwing a beautiful go in. Wow, that's perfect shot. And pretty courageous to fly it all the way to the green. As we saw Ricky, you know, sliding up there, that's the safer play here.
Exactly. Lower and safer to avoid a crazy kick. Oh my. Man, 2 perfect shots and exactly the same mistakes for both Niklas and Albert. Did they make the Mendo?
I know Albert hit the Mando tree. Looks like he did miss the left side Mando, I suppose, as he has gone to the drop zone. But really good recovery shot from there. It's not an easy approach.
Yeah, that's a long way. Dead straight shot on the rope to the basket. And some fans here giving some love to Albert. So hard. He's even. And that's gonna be a long range. Yeah, upshot for Niklas. Double bogey incoming.
As you said, if there's one hole on the front nine that can really bite you, it's this one. But not for Ricky though. He has 7 birdies in a row to start. What an incredible stretch, and this hole, you know, this can be a huge momentum killer as for Niklas. He didn't have a lot of momentum to begin with. But for Ricky, getting this birdie, that's huge for your momentum. And same for Simon, you know, just 4 meters left here. Being 4 under after this hole, that's a great score.
Man, were you expecting Ricky to be 9 strokes ahead of Niklas after 7 holes? Really not.
I think nobody was, especially it's a really good course for Niklas. A lot of these, you know, low ceiling, flat to slight fading shots.
Exactly, in hole 8, another par 3.
Yeah, another par 3 might be... Honestly, this might be the easiest hole on the course. It's only 107 meters. Nothing, absolutely nothing in the way for the right-hand backhand hyzer. You can go for an overstable fairway driver or overstable distance driver. Only danger here is don't leave it short, and if you hit the last branches on the left side of the basket you might fall OB, but if you hit the branches on the right side you're always going to be parked. Really the only mistake here not to make is that short left.
Yeah, main danger for sure. Definitely not the hardest on the course. You go wide, hyzer, and that's a great shot from Ricky. Going for 8 birdies in a row. And Simon also starting to heat up. 4 down through 8 is pretty solid, decent. Going for the 5th one.
And he's gonna get it. I think he just tickled those branches, as I think that's the best play here. Just challenge the branches on the right side barely. If you don't hit them, you're gonna be parked. If you hit them, you're gonna be still parked. And Albert's pretty safe play, going a bit right and long. Really nothing wrong with that, still gonna be in the circle.
Yeah, looking to bounce back after his first mistake of the round. And Niklas now needs to find a groove, that's gonna be the case. Hunting the chains, but yeah, 3 mistakes out of the last 4 holes, 2 bogeys, 1 double. Not usual to see Niklas in that kind of situation. Wow. A ball for Albert. Look at those guys. And a good save for Albert. Good par.
Niklas there, good bounce back after the double. As Ricky is also tapping in. Ricky actually wearing a Estonian national shirt for the national disc golf team. He was able to get that stamped with the Dynamic Discs logo just before the round. Pretty cool to be wearing the home country shirts in the tournament. And as we saw, 3 birdies. We're moving on to hole number 9. Another very birdieable hole. There's a tight gap off the tee. Really the left side tree is only thing slightly in the way of the line. You kind of have to play it a bit more to the center of the fairway. You can't really throw an anhyzer shot from the left side because of that early tree. Best shot here is gonna be either a fairway driver or distance driver thrown extremely low. Want to avoid that low ceiling by going just a couple of meters off the ground. If you throw it straight about 120 meters, you're gonna have a pretty simple approach. Just a couple of trees in the way on the approach. You can choose either a forehand or a straight backhand.
Yeah, it looks like a hyzer flip up of the tee pad to avoid that early left tree you were mentioning, and that's a perfect shot from Ricky. What to do to fight this man right now?
Yeah, not only perfect, it is so far down the fairway. Looks like Simon wants to match him though. Possibly with a big skip. And look at that, 2 beautiful shots. You can see the circle there, that's actually circle 2 for FPO. So they would be putting on the shorter version of the hole.
Yeah, at the exact same spot. And is it far enough? He's gonna be stuck in the middle of those 5 trees on the left side. We didn't really mention the Mendo also on the left. Careful with that if you early fade or something. But normally not the main danger. And Albert going with a safe forehand. Catching a tree on the left. Yeah, since that mistake on hole 7 he slowed the pace down a bit, needs to bounce back and find a groove again.
Good angle though, he was still able to make the Mando off the tee. And this is a great looking line. He's gonna be outside the circle, a chance to redeem himself after that pretty bad missed putt on the last hole. It was really, unexpected.
And look at that, he was so close from that tree. Stand still, slight turnover shot with that putter. Great control from Niklas to go even after 9 holes.
Yeah, good mental strength there after that double bogey. And Simon just barely missing it to the right. That was such a good shot for him as well. Once again, one of those touchy standstill putters.
Hey, you know what I was wondering? When he went for it, he could go for the turnover for sure, but the right side gap was so easy. Just a straight shot with a stable disc would have been maybe easier. But as you said, he's super comfortable with those turnover approaches, but I don't know. He's 5 down through 8. I can't really talk. And that's a great make from Albert. Redeemed himself, as you were expecting.
Yeah, great stroke there, catching that low left pocket. And Simon, bit high, taking a big bounce on the top of the basket. And yeah, a little bit, he's obviously very much a field player. But I feel like he's looking just slightly nervous on the course right now.
I don't know. And he was running to the next spot and not able to catch the chain, any chain, on that comebacker. That's gonna be a birdie to bogey, unfortunately for Simon. That's a 9 down through 9 for Wiki. Only green.
That's the best 9 holes we have seen on MDG Media. And probably the best, well, not probably, that is most certainly the best front 9 out of anybody in round 1 in this tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And as you were mentioning, it's probably the best front 9 we've witnessed on the channel so far in 2.5 years of commenting and hustling. So pretty cool to see Ricky on fire right now. And you can see the card. He's almost matching that hot score, back to the clubhouse. But yeah, just after 9 holes. And the rest of the card is doing okay. Simon and Albert are just in a pace where they can reach the lead card if they keep going like this. Niklas is struggling a bit more. But yeah, what to think and what to say about the back 9, man?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a lot of opportunities on the back. Really, it's the more difficult of the 2 9s, so we're gonna see if Ricky can keep the pace up even a little bit. It's gonna be a great round. Of course, Simon and Albert, they need to get some more birdies to keep up with the pace. Man, it's gonna be exciting on the back. I hope to see all of you guys there for the back 9 of the European Disc Golf Festival, round number 1.